On this week's show, Peloton holds their earnings call and the Peloton Studios New York showroom is updated.
Plus, a new row bootcamp program, new strength benchmarks and programs, free gifts for members, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 163 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I am Amanda Siegel, and yet again, I am joined by not one, but two co-hosts. I guess we needed that extra little bit of support this week because we have a lot to talk about. So hi, John and Chris.
It's a nice little Pelo Buddy sandwich.
Little Pelo Buddy
hey, John.
sandwich. I gotta tell you, I think Chris did a pretty awesome job last week with John Mills. I got to listen to the show on my way back from New York. Yeah, John, no, you didn't listen to the show.
Did you listen to it at 2 times speed to get through it?
No, I didn't. Don't be mean. And I got to tell you, they did a damn good job. I think that you guys did a really awesome job.
We just tried to keep it going a week till y'all got back, and now y'all are back. So back to normal.
You held down the force while John and I, had some quality time at PSNY, which we'll save for the end of the show to share with you about our little tidbits on our experiences at the mothership this past weekend.
It was a nice visit. It wasn't a big weekend of doing classes like I do in the past. So it was more of a visit, friends and family this time around. So it was great.
Yeah. No, it was definitely fun. So we'll share that with you at the end of the show. But we do have lots to chat about. So why don't we go right into it? As always, we always like to remind you how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is released on our YouTube channel. So just hit the subscribe button at the bottom right-hand side of the video and hit the notify button so that you never miss an episode.
Yes, and you can, of course, always just listen to us. If you're on the go, you want to hear the audio only, just search for Pelo Buddy TV. We're on all podcast platforms. If you aren't subscribed, what's going on? You should be by now. But make sure, and please give us those 5-star reviews. We love to read them on the show, and we especially appreciate the feedback we get on ways we can improve the show and make enhancements. So please keep those coming.
Yes, and Bankman, I'm not retiring quite yet. I am still going to be around. So if you enjoy John and me, if you continue to enjoy John and me, we will be here, maybe with a little guest appearance of others along the way, but I am here for a while. And of course, folks, we are on all social media platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, X, just search for Pelo Buddy and follow us on those platforms for all of the latest news. And now, guys, let's get on with the show.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
Well, the big news this week, I would say, was that the earnings call took place on Thursday, and there's kind of two distinct stories there. There's the earnings and the numbers, and then there's the everything Barry talked about. So we'll get the boring stuff out of the way first of the numbers, and the headline is the investors did not like it. The stock closed down 24% on Thursday, and that ended up closing at a new all-time low ever for the stock at $4.21. It hit a new intraday low of 417 at the same time. So it came back up a little bit, but it's fluctuating. But clearly investors didn't like it. They reported a slightly bigger loss per share than they expected. It was a 54-cent loss per share versus the 53 investors were expecting. They did get better revenue than expected at $743 million. So that was a positive sign. However, with that increase, they were still down 6% from the same quarter last year. As part of saying that, they did revised their estimates for next quarter, and now they're estimating next quarter is only going to be $700 million, which is what lower than investors were expecting. They also lowered estimates for the upcoming quarter and year, and they're now saying they will not be cash flow positive until the final quarter and won't be for the year. The CFO kind of wrapped up by saying the outlook is tempered by uncertainty surrounding our ability to efficiently grow paid app subscribers and the performance of other new initiatives, as well as an uncertain macroeconomic outlook. So, that was kind of the headlines for the numbers and the stock that they announced.
Yeah. Doesn't look good, does it?
I will say, go ahead, John.
The Wall Street wasn't happy, but just all the articles were just painted, were very dismal, like a CNBC headline, Peloton shares plummet 24% as fitness company gives dismal outlook. Same thing with Wall Street Journal, which was behind a paywall, so I could only read the first two sentences, but I can only guess. It points out all the negative details that the CNBC article highlights.
Yeah, and I will say, Barry did open his comments, and he was like, I'm summarizing here, but the headline is the company is not going out of business, because for the first year or so, that was a big concern. But they've at least stopped bleeding cash, and they're, unless they revise it again, close to being cash flow positive. So it's still, seems like they're making some steps in the right direction, although clearly all their numbers aren't hitting the marks. So we'll have to see in the next quarter how that goes.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like a positive trajectory.
It's probably,
if you will.
It's probably less negative than it used to be, though.
Okay. All right. Well, look, again, we
doesn't make it positive, but the slope has, the slope is becoming less steep downward.
Right. And look, for a member, not a stock owner, but for a member, you're still getting what you want from the platform. So, from that perspective, we haven't seen any significant change. Which is a positive thing.
In the letter and in the call, Barry did talk about, and that was the second part of the call, was some of the member focus things. And Barry did mention two things that he said that the company didn't perform as expected. So these were kind of negatives, but one thing he highlighted was the co-branded bike initiative with colleges, specifically the University of Michigan. And they're shutting that program down. They're not going to expand to other colleges. They're not going to sell bikes with other colleges. They might still have partnerships, but they're not going to do the co-branded bikes. He said they sold fewer bikes to alumni and boosters than expected. It seemed like a good idea, but didn't deliver. So we're end-of-lifing this hardware initiative. So that was one area that he just
David Miller made a good point on his social, and he basically said, you can't slap some paint on a bike and think that you're gonna have this unbelievable outcome.
I think if they had had a trade-in program, I think more people would have taken it up. But most of the people who want a bike probably have one, and it's a higher priced one isn't necessarily what's going to get them to buy it, probably.
No,
exactly.
Totally made sense.
One other area Barry highlighted was customer support. And I'll just read his whole quote.
The member experience, he said.
He said, the member support experience has tarnished our brand and we simply must do better. The team is in the middle of a reboot, new leadership, new system, new third-party vendors, new training, new staff. I'm confident we're on the right path this time. I'm confident in the new leadership, and I'm confident in the next few months our members will be receiving the level of service they deserve and expect and that we can be proud of.
Brilliant. I actually hadn't heard that. So that's awesome. That is definitely something.
I noticed somebody had highlighted his mentioning of that in the official Peloton member page on Facebook. And then there was lots of comments about really inconsistent member experiences with, the call center or the chat feature. So it's good that they're aware of it and know that it's something they really need to work on.
Yeah, during the holiday season, it's their busiest time, so the issue is probably the worst then because they have the most amount of new orders and all that. So I'm sure it's going to take a little bit of time for us to see the end result, but it sounds like some changes are coming there.
Right. And again, as I said previously, it's a platform for members. So that's what they should be focusing on. And the business aspect of it obviously is very important to keep it growing and keep it going. But it's only going to do that if you keep your members happy. And for a long time, members weren't happy. So yeah, that makes sense. Well,
Barry didn't just stay focused on the negative. He also talked about some positive things members have to look forward to. And one of those areas was around marathon training and quote unquote performance athletes. He shared that, the company entered into a partnership with the New York Roadrunners and revealed that during the course last year, they actually recorded the course, he said, in 3D. I don't know if he meant 3D or 4K, but he did say 3D, and then went on to say that they captured the metadata, which would allow the elevation of the tread to automatically change as you do the course. So it sounds like we're going to have some, we knew we were going to have some new scenic guided content of that, but they're going to be able to do it with auto incline, so that as you're doing the training, you can actually train through the New York Marathon and have the tread simulate those hills as you're doing it. He also said that we hope to expand that to other leading marathons in the world and continue to lead into that segment of the marketplace. So we can see them possibly doing this with Tokyo, the Berlin, the London. So it sounds like they're trying to get some of those partnerships and get more of those recorded, guided runs coming to the platform.
Yeah. And I think that the trajectory for that looks positive, because there's so many folks that are definitely, utilizing the platform for marathon training. So,
yeah. And then
find me there.
Yeah,
I don't know if you'll find any of us three there.
My eyes just glossed over.
Right.
I'm not doing marathon training.
Well, the next thing he said might be a little more exciting to everyone, in that during the call several times he mentioned product innovation, and every time he mentioned this, it was in the context of the hardware they have or how they've been working on their hardware. One thing he said is that we've been busy saving ourselves for the last 2 years, and now we're positioned to invest in innovation. Again, it's time to put innovation on that map in the first place. So not really a specific there, but another point, he was talking about what they've done and what they're doing. He said there's been little product innovation. We introduced a new product, Tread Plus, and we launched the Row. So not much on the product side, a lot of innovation in other areas. I think that you're going to see in the next 2 years is significant product innovation, which I'm very excited about, because I think we're going to have a real shot at changing the growth of the company. And another time he mentioned it by talking about the Tread Plus, and then he went on to say we're leaning heavily in product innovation again. We have the right talent in the building. So I'm pretty optimistic based on what's being discussed today about the next 2 years. So he never said the words new hardware, but in the context that he was talking about it, it really seemed like he was teasing their, working on some new actual products versus software and stuff they've been doing over the last little bit.
Yeah. Great job, Chris, in summarizing that. That was, that's awesome. That definitely gives everybody a nice perspective, because to sit there and listen to it can be a little time consuming. So we appreciate you having, done that and been able to do that.
No problem.
One of the little things that did kind of was teased for those folks that ever use the Just Workout option on your Peloton app. It looks like that if the answer is yes, that you sometimes get frustrated because it doesn't work unless you have internet service. And it seems that may be changing. So he had teased in the earnings call on Thursday that the Just Workout may become available offline. So I actually wasn't even aware that, you had to either have, Wi-Fi or internet service in order to use it and get your metrics and everything else on there. But from what I'm understanding, and Chris, please add if I've missed anything, that's going to be something that potentially was looked at for down the road.
Yeah, he made a mention of it, Just Workout offline mode. So we've not seen any reports of it being live yet. So it sounds like it's just a tease of something to come, but it was mentioned in passing in the investor letter. So
good. That'll be awesome.
Nice.
That'll be awesome.
Well, the PSNY showroom has received a little update. So if you've been recently, like Amanda and I, you might have noticed they had this little temporary barricade up, but the retail section at PSNY was like this very small little nook in
Cozy.
The upper level, off of that lounge area where they would do a lot of pictures with, tread and strength classes. But they have recently expanded that whole area to be all retail now. So they filled in that little area on the floor that was sunken for the couches where you could sit and lounge. And so it's a much huger
Well,
footprint.
they removed the raised area in the back as well, so it's flat the entire floor now, and they basically swapped it from one side of the building to the other. So the little nook now might be a stretching area or something, and then the right side where it used to be, there was a desk, there was that seating area, there was a little bar. Now that is the retail area, and it looks huge compared to what it used to.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole area officially just opened this past Thursday, the 1st. But it was basically done for a couple reasons. Members had constantly said they wanted more variety of the apparel that was out there, that was available. And it also gives Peloton more space and room for when they hold events in that space. So they have a nice big flat open area now to really spread out.
Yeah, because before when they were trying to have events, they'd set up chairs and you'd have to kind of make a horseshoe around that member.
Correct.
The hole in the floor where there were some seats, but you couldn't really watch an event from there. So now they can kind of, they can push the apparel back to the side a
no
little
obstructions
bit.
Now.
Right. Now
no
the only
encumbrances.
thing in the way is those two big columns, which they can put seating around and they can push the apparel back to the side a little bit and get a lot more chairs and space in there.
100%. So the two questions I had actually was one, I did see a couple things. So are they closing the retail space in the square? Is that something, do we know if they're doing that?
I've not heard either way.
Okay. Because a couple people were asking that. So as for those folks that have been to New York, there is in fact a store, a Peloton store, a showroom on the square. So I don't think they would be closing it because from what I could see, they don't have the hardware.
No, they do.
Space.
They have little private rooms.
Sorry,
no. In the new space, in the new space,
in the updated retail.
I didn't see the tread and stuff in the pictures.
They used to have a bike. They used to have a bike in the smaller. Okay.
They had a bike and a tread.
They've rotated what they have there. So it could be that the lease, who knows how long the lease is there.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to have to wait and see on that.
Wait and see. Yeah. And we do want to give a shout out. Sorry. We do want to give a shout out to Josh Vernon because I think that Josh had sent you a couple pictures, which was really cool to get to get that preview.
Is that Wicked Smart Zone?
Thank you, John. I wasn't going to try to say it again this week. I was hoping.
Yeah, me too.
Since I got called out.
Wicked Smart Zone.
Since I got called out the other week on that.
Don't worry, I made a mistake last year when I gave them their shout out. So you and I are both in the same boat, Chris.
I don't know how much foot traffic that retail showroom gets off the courtyard behind the studio because I walked in there on Thursday when I had some time to kill before PSNY would let you in before the class I did. And as I was walking up to the door, I saw like all 6 retail associates. They were just sitting, like chatting. They had their iPads. And as soon as I opened up the door, they all stood up. And I said, you don't have to get up. I'm just browsing. And I was like, it's a real beehive of activity in here. So I don't know. Yeah. How, if they get a lot of traffic coming in there.
That's one thing that's a small change that's happening here. Before, to get to the PSNY retail space, you had to go in that little mall, and you technically entered through a side door, or you just had to kind of know it was there. But now there's big signs on the entrance from the courtyard. You can see it in the window, so it's a lot more
Yeah, but I think
clear.
John was referring. I think John was referring to. Okay.
I'm just saying that's the change that made me think of that they're doing in the retail space at PSNY.
Yeah, you can actually see the retail space from the courtyard now, which is kind of cool. And I mean, it makes sense. They were constantly, you would ask for stuff, and they would constantly be running to the showroom to pick up stock. If they didn't have it in the studio, and people that are in the studio don't want to be running to the showroom, so it makes sense. I guess we'll wait and see, but it did look beautiful. I know they were very excited about it. I mean, there were definitely questions as far as will there be sitting area, and my understanding was that they were still waiting on some furniture, so some seating furniture was still supposed to arrive, but they wanted to open it up anyway. And then the other question was, and again, maybe you know the answer, one of you, but in the past, if you were in a trade class, you went upstairs to get your picture taken. Now, while they were busy doing the renovation, they were doing the pictures downstairs. Some people were getting to get them to be done at the P where the bike pictures were done, and others were getting their pictures done right outside the Tread studio and weren't very happy with the pictures there because I guess the lighting isn't so great. So I'm curious to know if they're going to still have folks go upstairs to take pictures. Do you know, Chris?
I haven't heard yet. I would guess yes. That's just
probably
we'll
just
find out
depends
this
on
weekend
when classes come out at the same time, managing that.
Yeah. I guess we'll hear after this weekend because it will have been in full force this weekend. So we'll definitely share that with you guys next week. All right. Well, moving on. February is Black History Month, and Peloton have teased that there will be lots on deck for members. Peloton Studios shared a reel from Tunde's 30-minute Speak Up ride back on June the 17th of last year with a caption saying, "This year we're tapping into the power of legacy, culture, and music for Black History Month." The Black History class genres will be Black Basics, Legends of Classics, excuse me, you're quite right. Black Classics, read that wrong. Legends of Hip Hop, Black and Brilliant, and Funk. So definitely stay tuned because we will obviously share with you what Peloton has on board for us over the next month. At this point, I don't believe they've released anything specific, correct?
There's a handful of those listed on the schedule, but not the full lineup. So I imagine probably this upcoming week, they're going to start adding more. And towards the end of the month, there's a couple special live classes that they've sent out invites to members for that were booked privately based on invites. So towards the end of the month, you're going to have a couple live member special rides towards the 17th through 24th or so.
All right, good. That's exciting.
I'm just glad it's February because January felt like it was.
Everybody was saying that. February really did seem like it lasted forever. So yeah, February is nice and short. So it's fun month.
All right. Well, moving on, we have a unofficial program from Rebecca Kennedy that was just announced. It's an unofficial split strength program. Rebecca initially teased the news in her most recent 30-minute upper body strength class and then made the full announcement via her Instagram stories. But in the video, she calls it a pseudo split and states that she's basically creating a 4-day split, dropping entirely on demand, not under programs, not under collections. So they'll just be individual classes that all speak to each other. So you can bookmark them. You can take them at your own pace. You can take them in whatever order you choose. She said she designed and wrote it as a program with 4 days, so you don't have to do 5 days a week. It's unofficial in that the classes will be released to the on-demand library rather than housed in the programs. It'll be a total of 4 classes that are airing between the January 14th and February 14th. She says there'll be 2 upper body classes, 1 lower body and 1 full body one. And the full body will be 45 minutes. Upper and lower body classes will be 30 minutes in length. And then since it's an unofficial program, there's no special badges for it. But she did say that releasing it this way in a series of on-demand classes, it makes it so much easier to put it out more quickly rather than having for her to wait and have the production team produce it as a part of an official program. So it's going to just be delivered so much more quickly, like a normal class that aired live and then is released on demand shortly thereafter. So the upcoming ones, we expect the next class to drop this week, Wednesday, February 7th. And then the final one will be Wednesday, February 14th.
Yeah, we've got a list of those on the article on our website. So we've got the first 2 listed already, and we'll update it as the other 2. So if you need one place to reference it, we've also linked to it from our program page where you can find all the other splits and programs. So you can just go there, and we've listed it as Rebecca's unofficial 4-day split strength. So you can find all the links there.
Real big focus on strength, it seems like. So many strength programming. We were talking about strength a lot lately.
Go ahead, Amanda.
No, I was just going to say, I chatted to her about it on the weekend. She was really excited about, dropping this because I think she has gotten incredible feedback from members. She was just saying that members have just, picked up her other split program and really have just been giving her huge kudos for it. So, it's nice that she's listened to the members and she's kind of feeding into what folks want, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was one of them.
And she did
her.
say that, the other program you mentioned, it's a 5-day intermediate split strength. And she did allude to the fact that this is kind of designed for people who have already taken the 5-day.
Yes.
And this is kind of something to go after that, after you've done her 5-day before. So designed as a follow-up to that one.
Correct. Because she does recommend that 5-day, you do it for about 4 to 6 weeks. And it does get a little monotonous. For someone that did it for 4 weeks, it became a little monotonous because you were kind of doing the same thing week after week. So it's kind of nice to be able to throw this in, maybe, do 2 weeks of that initial 5-day split, then maybe do a week of the 4-day, go back to the 5-day and kind of just, mix it up a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, talking about, how you were saying there was so much strength coming. Last week, we thought we were going to have another strength instructor when Katie was teasing a big announcement. And some people, including us, thought it might be strength. But it turns out there's a new 2-week row bootcamp program now available. And that was the big announce last week. It's led by Adrian and Katie. But it also features guest appearances from Jess Sims, Callie Gullickson, and Brad Lopez. Sprinkled with the row and row bootcamp classes are traditional strength classes. So just to be clear, Jess, Callie, and Rad are not teaching rowing. They're not teaching row bootcamp. They're just teaching regular strength classes next to the rower that are in the program. There's 15 classes in total. One thing to keep in mind is if you join the program when it was first announced in that first hour, there was actually a bug with the program and Jess's strength class wasn't appearing. So you would have had to exit and rejoin to see it. Or we have it listed in our list of classes if you just want to throw it in there on the day it was supposed to be. As always, like any other program, we have the full list of classes on our website. You can find details and more about that over on our website.
Yeah, it was fun. I met Katie in passing at the studio on Friday, I guess just after she had made the official announcement last Friday morning. So I hadn't seen it yet. So when we were chatting, I said, "Oh, what was the big announcement?" So I got to hear it right from her lips.
The horse's mouth. The horse's mouth.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that expression. Yeah, and she was super nice. So it was finally nice to meet her in person. Yeah. There's still a few that I haven't met yet, face to face, like Camilla. But while we're on the subject of strength, still keeping with that topic, Peloton has added new strength benchmark classes designed to be repeated in order to track progress over time. So the news was initially shared last week via the Peloton Studios Instagram post. The first set of strength benchmark classes are each 20 minutes with Robin Arzon and Andy Speer. So we have a 20-minute full body with Robin from January 23rd and a 20-minute body weight strength with Andy from the 23rd as well. And they're not labeled specifically benchmark, but the descriptions indicate that they're benchmark strength classes. Robin's utilizes weights, like I said. Andy's does not, but we anticipate that they'll be releasing new benchmark classes with the same class plan as their original benchmarks from last week periodically over the next couple of months. Numerous programs, though, have benchmark classes. You can use, we have a write-up on Pelo Buddy with direct links to access them outside of the official program. We got the cheat codes, so you don't have to take them in order if you don't want to follow the rules there.
If you want to be a rebel,
yeah. If you want to find the complete list on the write-up for this story, it's on pelobuddy.com.
Awesome. Well, Robin has been very busy because she also launched a new postnatal core strength program. Again, it's a 4-week series of postnatal core strength classes that will help members who have just had a baby rebuild their core strength. The classes dropped this past Wednesday, January the 31st. And I think it's just getting those folks that potentially were intimidated in getting back into working out an opportunity to do so slowly and in a more structured way. So we really like that idea.
Just to clarify, there's only one class available now, and they're going to be dropping weekly over the next couple weeks. The first week there was only one, so we're not sure yet if there's only going to be 4 in the series or there might be multiple drops in a future week. But I forget which day it dropped, but once a week they're going to be dropping those.
I think it was Wednesday, the 31st.
Yeah, so it'll be part of a series. It's labeled Postnatal Core and On-Demand Library. We'll be making a list of those as they get added as well.
Awesome.
Nice. Well, Peloton has released 3 classes that were recently filmed last weekend at the Mall of America in Minnesota. It's in the On-Demand Library. The classes were individually taught by Callie, Adrian, and Chelsea Jackson Roberts on January 28th, and they're part of the Peloton and Lululemon Move For You event. But they're now all in the library. There's a 30-minute Move For You bodyweight strength with Callie, 30-minute the Chelsea set Move For You from also from the 29th. It's got a dated the 29th, and then a 30-minute Move For You HIIT cardio with Adrian. And each instructor stands on this stage in the Huntington Bank Rotunda inside the Mall of America. And you can see a whole sea of mats of people participating in the class. You can also see mall goers just milling around along the higher levels. So it's kind of a cool overview watching the class take place. None of the classes require equipment. You just need a workout mat and a space to move. But throughout the day, this past last Sunday, a week ago, Peloton had shared special behind-the-scenes content on social media, revealing their setup, showing how they were producing the classes. According to members who were there in person, they received some swag. They received a Lululemon water bottle, a workout mat with a carrying attachment, and a sweat towel. And they also received some commemorative note cards with information about the event, as well as a 20% off coupon for Peloton X Lululemon apparel. And then there was a little meet and greet afterwards with attendees with their respective instructor that taught their class.
Yeah, you mentioned that, there were people at the mall were able to kind of watch from the rotunda. And one member actually mentioned that, that was cool for the people, but it was a little interesting doing the class. Because, for example, Callie had you doing hip thrusters, and you're there in the middle of the mall doing hip thrusters while people from up on the rotunda are sitting there watching you. So it created a interesting, unique experience for doing that workout.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody was like shouting out stuff or... I feel like Minnesota is pretty respectful Midwestern city.
Right. I will say I did do Chelsea's yoga, and it was pretty cool. I mean, I have to say it was, I have to take my hat off to Peloton because I think the production of what they did was pretty awesome. It really came across well. The class was protracted well. It was easy to follow at home, doing it from home. I was concerned about that. I loved how they panned into the members. They gave the members a little bit of camera time. It was very impressive, the way, the different camera shots and angles that they had. Chelsea did an amazing job. I mean, she really, really did an amazing job. Again, I've only done that class, but was very, very impressed with what they had done. So
I don't know if they were just saying this just to say it, but one of the instructors was asking, where should we take this next? So there's a possibility they might try it in some other cities as well down the road.
I love it.
Keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a great concept. I think it's a great way of getting the word out there. It's a great marketing tool for Peloton. It's a huge marketing tool. I mean,
they didn't really announce it in advance at all, right? I don't feel like there was
you could sign up. They posted the sign up links via Peloton Studios and we shared about it and they filled up super quick.
Was it several days ahead of time?
It was like a week or so.
A week or so.
Okay.
A couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess
yeah.
I totally missed the initial news about it.
We spoke about it on the show, John. So.
I say that because
when you zone out when I talk, because I believe it was my story at the time. You probably just zone out when I talk, but that's okay.
Remember yesterday,
I love you anyway.
So. I say that because when I ran into Adrian last Friday, he goes, "I thought I would see you. I thought I'd be seeing you at the mall," and I was, "What the hell are you talking about?" And he was like, we got them all event. And I was like,
John,
oh,
you do a podcast on all of this, for God's sake. Gee, Chris, is it time to replace him? Should we just bring you and me in? You and me just run the show and we'll be fine. I mean, Prue, what's going on here?
Yep, senior moment.
We got to get you more focused. We got to get you more focused. All right. Well, next story is calling all those Power Zone riders. It is no surprise, though, that a second 120-minute Power Zone class with Matt Wilpers would be back on the schedule. The first one, which dropped back in October 28th of last year, to be exact, because it was, in fact, Matt Wilpers' birthday, was a huge...
Near his birthday.
Huge. Was it near his birthday? It wasn't actually on his birthday? Yeah. All right. Well, it was his birthday class. It was a huge success. And it had more than 6,000 live riders on the class. So for a Power Zone class, that's pretty impressive. I mean, really impressive. Granted, it's 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning, which is a great time, certainly for East Coasters. For East Coasters and UK and German folks, not so great for the Pacific Coast time folks, but did have 6,000 live riders on there. Back in November, Matt did share how much of a success the ride was and that more would be on deck. He had stated that he would aim for 1 per quarter or 4 per year. Although he did joke that his bosses, we kind of know who that is, wanted 1 per month. He said that he, after the ride, he had gotten a text message saying that they had not expected that it would be as popular as it was, and asking him if he would do it every month. And his response was, pump the brakes, pump the brakes, pump the brakes. That was 2 hours, but he did offer to try and do it at least once a quarter. And it seems like he is, in fact, going forward with his office, because here we are. The second 120-minute class took place yesterday, Saturday the 3rd. If you weren't able to catch it live, you can grab it on demand. So yeah, very, very fun.
Well, I did the last one, whenever that was. Chris, you probably know.
October 28th.
October.
Again, you see, Chris, he zones out. I just said the date, October 28th.
I'm multitasking.
And Amanda's just talking. John Shuck zones out. All right.
But yes, I had messaged him. Well, I had messaged him earlier in the week and I said, hey, can I give you a song request? And I said, it's 2 hours of music. So he's got a lot of songs. He's got a big playlist to fill. So I said, will you play the 10-minute All Too Well Taylor's version by Taylor Swift? Because that version is great. And it is, it's not played very often on any classes. And he was like, there's no way I'm playing a 10-minute song. I was like, dude, come on. You have 2 hours. Like, that version is so good. There's so many Swifties. And he was all, I'm sure there's a rider out there, that's not a Swiftie fan. I don't want to put him through 10 minets of that. Like, come on, man. So he really pumped the brakes on that one. It was like, give me another request.
Funny.
So
that's a good just side note, is that on these Saturday rides that are he normally does 60 and longer, but they are member request songs, and they post those in the Team Wilpers cycling group. Chris Merrill every week post a spreadsheet, and members can post their requests there, and Matt uses that to build the playlist. So if you've ever wanted to get a song in, you can go to the Team Wilpers cycling Facebook group and put your request in there for the rides for the weekend. They normally do that, I think, earlier in the week, so you need to plan ahead of time to put those requests in, but that's how you do that.
Yeah,
just don't request a 10-minute.
I go straight
just
to
don't
my
request
guy
a 10-minute one.
Just hit him up. I go right to the direct line.
Not everyone's Kenny Bania. So
not every instructor indulges me, as you can see. So I don't get that. I don't always get the special treatment.
Clearly.
Well, we have a new Sunday with Love ride. So just today, we had a new installment of Sundays with Love today. And they are being held quarterly. Allie had during the pre-show of a recent ride, someone had asked her about Sundays with Love, and she did confirm in the pre-show that they're going to be happening quarterly as well, just like the 2-hour ride. So seems like they're back now on a regular basis, but every 3 months.
Yeah, it seems like for a lot of these
noon time slot on Sundays.
Yeah, for a lot of these classes, they're trying to keep some of these special series going, but just possibly spread them out a little bit more. Because before it was like you'd get 10 weeks in a row of Sundays with Love, and then it'd be 13 months before you had another one. So it seems like they're just trying to, do a couple less, but spread them out more throughout the year to keep them more regular.
Like EXO, because I'm sure, Allie does a lot of prep. Like she has these different themes. She's reading different, I don't know what you want to call them, but before the class,
excerpts,
mantras, excerpts. Yeah. So I'm sure she puts a lot of time into it, and I'm sure she'd get burned out having to do it weekly on a regular basis.
Yeah, and she's so busy these days that it probably
Jack of all trades.
That
that
everybody
with their side gigs.
Out. Exactly. Well, kind of out of the blue, we found out that Leanne Hainsby was going to be in New York this month and was dropping a 30-minute 90s pop ride with members on Monday, February the 12th. Booking for the class dropped this past Thursday, and of course, it was gone in seconds. And before you ask, John, no, I am not going back up to New York for this.
On Monday, February 12th?
I will actually be down in Miami. So
Mark obviously.
Yeah, there was a veto. There was a veto on that.
Sure there was.
And you know what? I feel so lucky. I got to ride with her 2 weeks ago in London, and I'll be back in London in March, and I'll get to ride with her. So I'm glad that other folks will have an opportunity to be able to do that. And I was a really good friend because I was not booking for myself this past week. So I booked through a login of one of my good friends, Tracy McCann, Atomic Blonde One, and was able to get her in the class. So that was my gift to her. I was very excited that I was able to do that. Right? Wasn't it just?
What a saint.
So I will not be there, but I'm glad that Tracy and others, there will be tons will be able to get in there. So kind of out of the blue, we don't know what else Leanne will be doing in New York while she's there, but it was fun to see that, and we'll fill you in 2 weeks after that ride has taken place.
There's going to be a Ben Aldis-less trip. Is she coming solo?
I think it looks like she's coming solo. So yeah, good for her.
Yeah, well, changing gears a little bit, we shared a couple of weeks ago that Peloton had entered a new partnership with TikTok, and as part of that, they're creating new content that's not showing up on Peloton platform and their main social media channels, but on TikTok. With that, this past Wednesday, they had a interview and session with Timbaland, and it was with Camila Ramon and Chelsea Jackson Roberts. They started with a short Q&A, kind of asking him what some of his surprising collaborations have been, or what some of his dream collaborations would be. As part of that, he announced that he actually has a new wellness album that's coming out, and that some of those songs may be on the Peloton platform. He then gave a premiere of one of those songs to those people watching the TikTok live. And while that was happening, Chelsea led the three of them and everyone watching through a live meditation. Chelsea actually started beatboxing, and he talked about, hey, we need to take that and add that to the track. So we'll see if that ends up happening or not. While that was going on, they also teased that there's a producer artist series happening next week, which we had shared about last week, because all 4 of the artist series in February, we know what they're going to be. But they shared that this one's actually a producer artist series. Camila is going to have a class in Spanish as part of it, and Chelsea is going to have a 10-minute meditation where you'll be able to hear that same song, but it'll be recorded for an actual Peloton meditation, and you can hear it in the platform. So I expect to see more of these little TikTok interview things popping up as part of their collaborations, but this was one of the first ones through that partnership.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah. Well, Peloton recently released a new 30-second ad spot on their YouTube channel this past Thursday, the 1st. I haven't seen it on any other channel or platform, but I'm sure it's going to be making the rounds in the coming weeks.
not all of these are necessarily full-blown commercials. Some of them are just like digital advertising spots that they can tease here and there, but not necessarily put on, full-blown television airwaves and stuff.
Right. But the title of it is on the video posting on the Peloton YouTube channel is Your Class, Your Vibe, Your Way. It features clips of Camilla with her also doing voiceovers throughout the spot. Showing different members, working out on the tread and the bike. And then it starts out, it says, you hear Camilla's voice and she says, the mantra for today is no me importa, which means I don't care. I live life the way I like to live. And then you hear Rad Lopez, his voice chime in a little bit and says, you ready to dance a little bit? And then shows somebody started like dancing on a mat in their living space. And then the little description, it simply says every workout, every vibe, every day, feel good, just showing up, explore all the classes and instructors you love on Peloton. But yeah, nice 30 little second spot. Hopefully, maybe we'll see it on some TV commercials, maybe on ESPN, because they always love to show Peloton commercials during ESPN broadcasts.
Yeah. I haven't actually seen it yet. I gotta go over to YouTube and take a look at that. I haven't had a chance to look at that. All right. Well, some very lucky members received a nice little surprise in the mail. So for those members who were very busy bees and extremely active on the leaderboard in 2023, they got an email with a congratulatory video from Tunde and a link to opt into receiving the gift. Not sure who wouldn't have opted in, but the gift box included a water bottle, a Peloton hat, a Peloton microfiber towel, and a box of chocolates. There was also a note of congratulations and wishing the members a happy new year. They were also asked to post on social media and tag one Peloton with the hashtag gifted. So that was kind of a cool gift for those folks that I guess maybe got over 20,000 minutes. Do we know?
They just said most active, and it clearly wasn't everyone who was over a certain part because it seemed kind of random, but it could have also been those who liked the most songs, those who gave the most high five. They just weren't clear. So it probably had to do with minutes or most classes, but we're just not sure on how that criteria was sent out.
Yeah. And then a second gift has been sent to also a random bunch of members who completed the recent Lululemon Move For You challenge. So again, the members were emailed. They were sent an initial email which said, congrats on completing the Move For You challenge. We wanted to thank you for being a part of the challenge with a gift from Peloton and Lululemon. Now keep up the hard work and continue showing up for yourself all year long. You've got this. Members then entered their mailing addresses where they wanted Peloton to send the gift. The gift box included a Peloton Lululemon backpack. So that's really cool, as well as a $75 gift card to Lululemon. So, I mean, that seems like a pretty awesome little gift folks were getting. There was also a note card with the same message from the email. The box was labeled with Move For You, Peloton, ex Lululemon branding. So folks knew what they were getting, but definitely a nice little gift that members were able to get.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, very.
Well, Peloton is holding a very limited time bonus offer with the referral program. It's structured much differently than it's ever been structured before, but going on right now between February 1st and the 12th, members who share their referral code will receive 2 complimentary months of their all access membership, which is about an $88 value approximately. So the customer who uses the referral code in turn will receive $200 off their hardware device purchase, which is also an increase in value for the buyer as well. These values, dollar amounts, just to note, they're in US. So the promotion is running across other markets as well. So obviously that value and amount will differ based on the country's currency. But the Peloton support page about referrals now has this bright red message at the top informing members of the temporary offer. But normally, when there's not a promotion. The normal referral code is when you give someone your referral code to buy some hardware, you get $100 Peloton apparel gift code, and then the member gets $100 off the accessories that they add on to the purchase. So it's not even on the actual hardware. They have to add a bundle with the purchase. So it's pretty nice that they're giving 2 months free membership.
Now,
I know they used to actually.
In lieu of, hold on, let me ask a question. So they're not giving
Correct.
the $100. Okay. So it's actually not, I mean, is it good?
And now
I mean,
that
if
I'm reading
you
this,
have all the apparel that you want, it's better because if you just don't want the apparel, you definitely are going to be using this because you're paying your monthly thing.
True.
So it's something you for sure will be using.
so you don't have to worry about something expiring like a apparel code.
It does expire in May, so when you get the email with your code, you just need to go ahead and immediately add it to your account. But in terms of that, as long as you add it to your account.
Oh, there's actual step that you have to do to apply to get the 2 months membership waived.
You get an email with a code for 2 months free membership, and you just need to log into your account to apply it. And if you wait like 3 months, it might expire. But if you go in, it'll take care of that for you.
Well, as I was reading this story, when we joined Peloton in 2017, back then, early 2017 and earlier, they actually used to give you, I don't know if it was 1 or 2 months of your all access membership, but that used to be how it worked. And then they switched it to once the apparel started blowing up, then they would give you apparel codes. I know they used to do that.
Yeah, and I know some members, for example, John Mills, I think he got approximately 800 years worth of free memberships just based on all the... I'm slightly exaggerating.
Yeah.
Back then they weren't doing the limits on the number you could do either, so you could really rack up the number of free months. So there's some members who just, they were so good at getting the word out about Peloton and sharing it, they got a lot of free months worth of their membership back then.
Or posting their code on honey.com and...
I don't think it was that way for everyone, but
there was some folks.
Don't do that, by the way. That's how your code gets canceled. Okay?
Yes,
don't put your code out there publicly because they'll cancel it. And you don't want that to happen.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. All right, and rounding up the news, on January 26th, another round of class library maintenance took place.
All you, Amanda.
It's all me this week, and I'm happy to report. All right. So they removed a majority of classes filmed between December 2nd and December 7th of 2020. This purge resulted in approximately 80 classes being removed from the on-demand library over the 6-day period. However, around 30 classes from this time frame were retained. These included some Power Zone rides, a Strength for Runners class, the Outcast Artist Series, some German classes, Sundays with Love, the Jess King Experience, Fit Family classes, and some holiday classes, as well as another, handful of other classes. So they are still very busy cleaning up that library. That is for sure.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah. And then anything special you want to add, John, about our little visit to PSNY last week?
No, not really. Let's go right into it. I'm kidding. No, it was a real fun visit. It was great to finally see you and actually spend some time with you, not just, for a quick cup of coffee in passing, while we were both on our way somewhere. So it was nice. So Thursday night in the city, there was a group of us that came in. I know Phil. I don't even know Phil's last name, Filthy NYC, but he lives in the Bronx.
I don't know Phil's last name either.
He's local. There's a couple local people that some folks live in the Bronx in New Jersey. But then someone came in. Gaby came in from Hawaii. Jen was from Canada. Gloria came in from the Houston area. A few other people. But we all met up at Dave and Buster's on Thursday night, just right off of Times Square. So I had a lot of fun sitting at the end of the table with you, Amanda, having some quality time, promoting Pelo Buddy. And then when you dipped
It was
out
kind
and
of like,
left,
John, it was kind of like the king and queen sitting at the head of the table and everybody.
the Pelo Buddy royalty.
Royalty.
And then when you left, we moved over to the games area and we were playing all the games. So Dave and Buster's has this massive like game area, which was a lot of fun actually. So a group of us were playing this like 4-player Pong game and Pop-A-Shot and Mario Kart. So it was just a real good time on Thursday night, but I had a real good time hanging with you. And and it was a great weekend overall. Great visit to PSNY.
Yeah, it really was. And it's always nice to put faces to names of, leaderboard people that we, constantly work out with and then never really get to see in real life. So
yeah,
that's
make
real.
that
And these were
in-person connection.
And these were kind of some royalty that came in. I mean, Jen Houston, for those folks that don't know, is another big memer. She's out in Toronto. Gloria, who is Eric Yeager memes.
Yeah.
Definitely is out there and everybody knows Gloria. And then Gaby, who has had quite a journey this past year. So really nice to have her celebrate her 50th birthday. It was her 50th birthday. So it
that's
was
right.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that weekend.
Yeah. And that was kind of the reason. So it was lovely to just see her happy and smiling. She had lost both her husband and her father and her mother, this past year. So it was really nice to see her just celebrating with her friends. I was definitely an add-on, but felt very, honored and privileged to have been around them. And it's always nice to see you, John. And I finally got you to meet Mariana Fernandez in RIL.
Yes. I know. Even though I didn't, it's funny. I ran into all these Peloton instructors for the first time. I didn't take a picture with any of them.
I got a picture with you of her.
You did with me and her?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Oh, I don't
it
think
was
I
the
have
three
it
of
on
us.
my. Yeah, I don't have it on my phone.
I'll send it.
Okay.
I'll send it to you.
Because I did also bump into Rad. I met Rad, but I didn't ask him for a picture, and I didn't ask for a picture with Kate. It was a quick chat.
Katie. Yeah.
But no, it was a fun weekend.
I will tell you, John, not to make your head any bigger than it is, but Mariana did say to me that she was, pleasantly surprised as to how lovely you were and how handsome you are. So how about that? Who knows? But that was really fun to see. But you know what? It's always fun. I mean, it definitely sucks. This new, this new ruling that they have with the limits is definitely frustrating for folks that are coming in from out of town and are probably just getting that one shot at the studio, for a weekend. And they are very strict about it. So they really are keeping to it. So it's 2 classes a day max and 4 for that 5-day period. So,
and I did have a chance to meet the PSNY manager. He approached me and said, "Hi, I wanted to Darnell."
Darnell,
yeah,
Darnell's
fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah, Darnell's super nice. I've had a chance to meet him, in the race.
It was a fun weekend. The group, I know they did a steakhouse on Friday night, which I didn't go to, but then Saturday night I met up with them for karaoke. They rented a private room just off of Times Square, just actually around the corner from where Kristen McGee was singing at the nightclub, apparently.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. But so just a fun time. Whoever came and said hi and whoever enjoys the show, thank you so much. We always love that. We always love, being recognized for that and giving Chris the accolades that he deserves for putting Pelo Buddy out there and informing everybody as to what is happening.
Everyone met me this weekend because John runs Pelo Buddy.
Right. Yeah, I'm the brainchild.
The brainchild behind it, I'm telling you.
I'm the mastermind.
I make it sure. I make it very well known that I am just the face.
Yes,
I met somebody from legal. I met a Peloton. I was standing in line, and there was somebody from Peloton legal that was in line. She goes, "Oh God, you're Pelo Buddy." I'm like, No. I'm just the face of Pelo Buddy.
No.
We like you now.
You can tell legal that you're Pelo Buddy. That's fine, but everyone else.
That's okay to do.
We made it very clear at the Dave & Buster's dinner that Chris Lewis is the puppet master that pulls the string.
That's for sure.
And we did joke about how when we say something, we throw a little shade or say something disparaging, he likes to comment real quick in the spreadsheet, like remove that portion of audio when Amanda mentions.
that John's handsome.
Right.
But no, so it was actually funny, and she was very sweet. And then she goes, no, but we like you guys now. So I'm like, oh, thanks.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that we're on Peloton board.
We're all simpatico.
Yeah. No, we're the premier Peloton podcast at this time. So
Unofficial.
How about that, Chris? Yeah, very official. All right, folks, we are going to move right into Instructor in the News. And John, you kick it off with your boo.
All right, so Cody is now a voice option on Waze. So now we have 2 instructors. If you want to hear traffic directions, you can either choose from Maddie Majacomo, who recently became a voice option on Waze, and now Cody Rigsby. So Waze, it's a GPS navigation app on smartphones that you can have the audio turned on for directions, and now you can have the voice option for Cody. So he partnered with Waze to provide narration options for the app, and he recently shared the news this past week on Instagram saying, "Get in, loser. We're going shopping. Join me, your favorite passenger princess, for a one-of-a-kind drive. I don't parallel park, but I will slay the playlist. The Cody Rigsby experience is now live on Waze. Link in bio. Let's go, girls." And he did post a picture. I think he was in an Audi. And it seemed just like him being in the driver's seat, trying to drive, seemed very foreign to him. I don't think he really drives much anymore. I don't think he owns a car in Brooklyn. So I don't even know where he got this car from. But yeah, it was an entertaining little video of him driving and using the app with his narration setting. But apparently it's available in all countries. I thought it might just be limited to maybe the US, but it's in all markets apparently.
Yeah, Google owns Waze, and they did a whole blog post about this, and it specifically mentioned that it'd be available in all markets. So I kind of had the same thought, but they seem to be rolling this one out widely. You mentioned this as a second instructor. Maddie did another one, but his was a holiday one. He was a seasonal gingerbread man, so I'm not sure how much longer the Maddie one. All of these, honestly, like the Cody one's probably a limited time as well. When they have these guest ones, it's a couple months and then they go away. So I'm not sure how many months, but if you want to ride with Cody, you might want to start that now just to get the most time you have with that.
Yeah, Cody can be heard at the beginning of the drive stating, "Okay, before we drive, let's find a moment to take one deep breath, all the drama out the door, in through the nose, out through the mouth." And Waze users, you can change your setting on the navigation to the customize your drive section on the menu. That's where you go to change it. And then you can activate it from there.
And if you can't find it, there's also like a special link you can click that we have in the article about this. So you can click that from your phone and it should take you to the right section in Waze as well.
Yeah, the setting is called Drive with Cody Rigsby, and the description reads, "Navigate with hot takes. Cody is your passenger princess. He'll give you directions and romantic advice, but he's not pumping gas or carrying bags."
That's kind of funny. That is kind of funny.
It almost makes me want to use. I never really use Waze anymore, but it almost makes me want to put it on just to have him.
And it's so funny because I only use Waze. I only use Waze just because it tells you when they're cops.
Yeah, I always use my car's navigation just what I'm used to.
No, I'll be honest. Tesla's is not great.
You don't have CarPlay, dude. Tesla is just way behind.
We don't have CarPlay, so I do
CarPlay,
use Waze,
no Android Auto.
But more so for the traffic, the cops
notifications.
Waze will tell you where there are cops, and I tend to drive a little fast. So
you do.
That's right. All right. Well, for those members who participated in the record-setting Thanksgiving classes on November the 23rd, which broke 2 Guinness World records for the largest live cycling and running classes, can now purchase a participant certificate from the Guinness World Records website. The classes, led by Robin and Alex, marked Peloton's successful attempt to set new records, with Guinness staff present to verify. Participants can navigate to the Certificate of Participation section on the Guinness website, select the date, November 23rd, and the country, United States, and then choose from 2 options: most viewers of the running jogging lesson live stream on a bespoke platform, or most viewers of a static cycling lesson live stream on a bespoke platform. If participants took took part in both classes, they actually need to purchase separate certificates for each record. So you do not get one for both. After selecting the relevant option, participants can then add their name, enter their full name or leaderboard name to the certificate, agree to the disclaimer verifying participation, and confirm that the certificate will not be used for commercial purposes. Each certificate costs £25 or roughly $32 and requires account creation for checkout, including shipping and payment details. The initiative commemorates Peloton's 10th year of turkey burn content, which, as we know, celebrated with a special badge available only for that day. I think they did kind of do the second day, right? Because it didn't populate for everybody, if I remember correctly. So for those interested in purchasing the certificate to commemorate your participation, that you can just go ahead and visit the Guinness World Records website.
One thing to keep in mind, you mentioned it in passing, but you have to create an account and sign up for shipping. I've heard some people that shipping is like $30 on these. So all in, you might be looking at $50 to $60 for the certificate. So just something to keep in mind if you're considering that.
All right.
Yeah, a lot of people, there's some polarizing opinions on this whole Guinness record. A lot of people said this should be like the record at the biggest attempt, considering how many people got shut out.
Well, it's not even the biggest. It's definitely not the biggest class Peloton has ever had. Previous turkey burns, I think in 2020, they hit nearly 50,000, but the Guinness team wasn't on hand to verify it. So, you know, you have to have a person there to verify it. So that's why the record for this, I think it hit 27 was the official record or something like that for cycling, which there's been 2 or 3 Peloton classes bigger than that, but those aren't considered official records because the team wasn't there to verify it.
They have to validate it.
Yeah, but as John said, so many folks couldn't get into it.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying there should be an asterisk next to this record, quote unquote. All right, well, here's an interesting story. If you want to take a little retreat at a resort in Australia, you can do
Australia or Austria?
I thought it was Rain, Australia. Is it Austria? Jesus.
It is Austria.
Is it Austria or Australia?
It is Austria.
Okay, Austria.
It's definitely Austria.
Rain, Austria. You can do so at this resort, this wellness resort, with Asal Arian and Marcel Maurer, 2 of our German instructors out of the London studio. It's at the Purges Nature Resort in Rain, Austria. It's a 2-night excursion from March 22nd to the 24th. But there's a whole itinerary of all these different events with the 2 instructors. It says you'll experience the breathtaking combination of nature and fitness while training with the renowned Peloton trainers directly in the idyllic nature resort. Experience the Audi FIS Ski World Cup up close, which will be taking place at the same time. And then you'll get some exclusive access to that for some skiing. But what's included is it's 2 nights at this resort, the retreat, a complete Peloton fitness program, participation in the Purges Adventure program, breakfast and dinner. It's kind of like an all-inclusive experience. But I was just looking at the itinerary, and there's a lot of stuff with the Peloton instructors. On the first day on Friday, there's a get-to-know-you stretch in the yoga studio with Asal. There's a welcome dinner with the trainers at the hotel restaurant that evening. And then on Saturday morning, there's a mindful breakfast with the 2 of them. Then there is, later in the day, there's a stretch in the yoga studio with them both. Then there's a fireside chat where they kind of do a Q&A. So it's kind of seems very intimate setting. And then on Sunday, there's a whole bunch of class options. In the morning, there's an intro to cycling on the Peloton bike in the resort gym with the 2 of them. And then later on in the day, there's a mobility class with Marcel, or you can go on a nature walk with Asal. So you have the option between those 2 at the same time.
Yeah, this seems interesting. We've had other instructors who have done retreats before, but those have not been official Peloton retreats. For example, Christine has her workshops where you go to, she's done it in Greece. I think she's doing one in Colorado, which is an inclusive weekend with the instructor. But those are always outside of Peloton and not Peloton events. This one seems like a Peloton sanctioned, Peloton supported event where it's Peloton and the instructor. So this is the first time that Peloton has put one of these retreats on. So I thought that was kind of interesting that it's Peloton dipping their toes into these immersive weekends.
I think it sounds fantastic, I have to say. And I think they're trying to get exposure of some of the instructors that just don't get enough exposure, who are really outstanding.
Well, and Austria is their newest market, so they're trying to get more share in Austria.
Makes sense.
So these events going to the new countries is a way for, potential new members to hear about it and get some local news about it probably, and just get their name out there in the new country.
It says it's 2 nights. I don't know if this is pounds in Austria or what.
Probably euros.
Deutsch.
Probably euros.
650 euros per person for the whole, package.
Not
expensive. It includes
it.
The only thing it doesn't include, I think, is if you want to go to that ski event, it doesn't include the tickets to watch the world ski event that's taking place. It includes the shuttle to get there, and it includes your hotel for those nights and all the Peloton events. But if you just want to go watch the World Cup Ski Championship,
it does say
the ticket for
it's
that
not
piece
included.
is extra.
Yeah,
you can get a grandstand standing ticket for 33 euros if you want to go on the cheap end.
Not bad.
To attend.
No.
Yeah.
But you get a lot.
I think it's a great concept. I have to tell you, I think it's brilliant. And I mean, they're both outstanding, and it's a great way for, as you say, for Austria to kind of really, click in and
maybe one day they'll do one in Australia too.
I don't
when
know
I
why.
typed in that
right?
resort in Google, it came up rain. It said Rain Australia, or maybe I just. Maybe it said I could have sworn it said
Australia.
Your computer stopped listening while you were talking. It's fine.
Exactly.
Blame the device.
Exactly. I've actually been enjoying following along with Marcel. He is spending 2 weeks in Cape Town, and it has been very fun watching him at all my haunts. I mean, he is just living the life in Cape Town. So
and now Emma's in South Africa,
and Emma's there. So I messaged him last night. I go, I'm just going to put it out there. I don't know if you know that Emma's in Cape Town, but if you want to connect, because you know what, Rebecca didn't know that Marcel had proposed to his fiance in Cape Town last year. So I had shared that with her, and she was like, I had no idea. I said, just stick with your Pelo Buddy co-host. She'll tell you exactly what happens in the Peloton world. So she had a good laugh about that. But it was definitely fun to see. And he's so lovely. He's just so lovely. So I'm glad that they're able to do this. Well, continuing on with those German instructors, 4 of the German instructors announced on a live Instagram that they will be running the Berlin Half Marathon, which takes place on April the 7th. So Eric Jaeger, Jeffrey McKeechan, Tobias Hines, and returning instructor Irene Schultz will all be in participation. They shared that they will be sharing their training as well as giving useful tips for running preparation. And they kind of did it in a really cute way where Eric started the live, was kind of on it first, then brought on Irene, and then Tobias came on, and then lastly Jeffrey. So you kind of didn't know who was going to come on. And then all 4 of them came on that Instagram live. Of course, I didn't understand a word that they were saying. I did jump on at some point too, and it was like, okay, no, it's bad enough that I have to figure out what Jeffrey's saying when I'm on the tread with him and to try and follow along, but I couldn't follow along on their Instagram live. But they asked if anybody else was running the Berlin Half and encouraged folks to come out and cheer them on if you are around.
Yeah, and one side, you mentioned that Irene is returning, and they haven't set an official date yet at time of recording, but we do expect her to be back within the next 2 months because she is on the schedule for the London Calling Weekend. That's at the end of March, so she should be back on the schedule within the next 2 months since she's on the schedule for that German member weekend.
Nice.
Well,
sounds good.
Kendall Chul recently is going to be receiving an award from MHA, which stands for Mental Health Advocates. They had recently announced on social media, they said, we're thrilled to announce our 2024 Advocacy Award recipient, Kendall Toole. She will join us at our Inspiring Change MHA dinner on May 2nd, which will be held at the venue called the Powerhouse in Buffalo, New York. They said, Kendall was quoted in it saying, I thank MHA in Western New York for extending this generous invitation and heartfelt honor. Mental health is health, and I am on a mission to bring more awareness to the importance of peer support and mental wellness resources across communities because everyone deserves to feel accepted and valued. It's a ticketed event that you can attend. It's $150 for a dinner ticket. You can go on the MHA's Instagram page. They have a link to it. But for $150, it includes a cocktail hour with 1 hour of open bar, past hors d'oeuvres, a sit-down, proper dinner with dessert and wine at the table. And then obviously you can see Kendall up there, accepting her award and probably giving a little speech. Somebody dropping dishes over there?
Sorry.
What's going on over there? So congrats to Kendall on that honor.
All right, good. Well, you alluded to it, John, but who knew that gorgeous yogi Kristen McGee could not only crow, but could croon too. Kristen shared on Instagram that just a few moments ago, a father at her son's school said that he was putting a band together, and she immediately raised her hand to sing vocals. The band's name, the Bandersons, together with Steve, who, according to Kristen, is an incredibly talented guitar player and singer, had gotten a group together of parents of the Anderson School, so hence the Bandersons, which kind of makes sense, to perform at a fundraiser for their kids' school, and then made their debut at the Cutting Room in New York City. Kristen shared in an Instagram post that she had grown up singing and had moved to New York City to follow her passion for music theater and dance, which is how she ultimately discovered yoga. While being very humble and saying that she could use more practice, she did say how much fun she had and that she had hoped that there would be more of it, maybe even write their own songs. So we got to hear a little excerpt of her practicing. We didn't actually get to hear her singing, but she put some beautiful pictures. She absolutely looked magnificent. She looked stunning. And I would love to get to hear her sing, as you said, and I know she said next time in her answer to you, John, but as you had said, we wish we would have known because we were in New York and we could have gone.
I know, and I was 2 blocks away from the karaoke place.
Room. Yeah.
And I messaged her, but I guess it had already wrapped up at that point.
Right.
Early in the evening.
Or maybe she even posted it later on. But that was kind of fun to see. So maybe there will be some more of that for us to get to see her.
I was actually supposed to be in her Pilates class on Friday morning.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know if I told you.
Oh, yes, I do know what happened. Yes, I do know what happened.
She felt really bad. She had said she would put me on the guest list, and when I got there, they were like, "No, we don't have you. We don't have you in there."
Oh. Yeah, can't win them all, John. Can't win them all.
She felt really guilty for that because she also had some music in there that I gave her. So yeah, I gave her a hard time. I said every time one of my songs came on that I gave you, did you give me a shout out at least out of guilt?
You're gonna have to go do that class now.
I know. And then she felt bad. She tried to get me in her yoga class on Sunday morning. She offered. I guess she had a space open, but I didn't take her up on it. But anyway. Anyway, moving on to Camilla. She was recently interviewed in hiplatina.com. The title of the article is Dígame. Argentine trainer Camilla Ramon is bringing Latin representation to fitness. And I just pulled some of the questions and answers that I wanted to read that I thought were kind of interesting. One of the questions is, which Latina has had the greatest impact on your life and why? And she mentioned her mom and her abuelas. As a businesswoman and woman who have had to reinvent themselves multiple times in their lives, they show me that nothing is impossible and there is never a difficult moment where love can't shine through. So nice shout out to her family. And then they also asked if you could meet a Latina icon who is no longer alive, who would it be and why? And she said Frida Kahlo. I think she's an artist, famous artist.
She is.
She said, I'd love to sit with her and talk and chismosear over cafecito. I guess that means chat, talk. I feel like if she didn't get bored of me, it could be endless. And then she was asked, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received? And she said, you can choose levity. And then last question that I pulled, who was the first person to believe in your dreams and goals? And she said her parents. They've always believed in me, and seeing their work ethic as immigrants in a new country still inspires me every day. And Camilla, she was born in Argentina, raised there, and then she moved to Miami when she was 7. So a little bit of her backstory, but a good article there.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, Bex shared on her Instagram that she would be helping with TV coverage of the Olympic marathon trials in Orlando this weekend. So look out for that if you are interested.
And then rounding out instructors in the news, Callie was recently interviewed for Bustle. The article is titled, Callie Gullickson is always bringing her own energy. In Chill Chat, Bustle sits down with stars to discuss all things wellness, from their favorite skincare products to their hacks for getting a good night's sleep. Callie talks about her fitness routine and some of those, music on her playlist. She's into a lot of country because apparently she was born in Nashville, and her go-to coffee recipe. But one of the questions she was asked, what do you need to get a good night's sleep? And she said the room, I could really relate to this, because she said the room needs to be super cold, which I love to make our room. I love to put the temperature down to 61 degrees Fahrenheit after 9 p.m. So by that time, when we actually turn in to go to sleep, it's nice and cold. Put the sheets over, sometimes put the fan on. She says she hates being hot at night. And I'm sure now that she's pregnant, she wants to always be cold with the, pregnancy hot flashes. But she said, and then I need to have comfy pajamas. If I could live in them all the time, I would. I also try not to look at my phone past a certain time, which I can relate to. I definitely try not to go on TikTok in bed, because then that just sends you down a rabbit hole.
Sucks. Suck.
Totally.
Yeah. All right, good. All right, well, we will go right into picks of the week. And John, you go ahead and kick it off.
Okay, let me drag this over here. So first up, Camilla's 30-minute pink ride, which was in Spanish. Layla BCH gave us this pick. She said Camilla was great in this ride. And then Tobias and Jeffrey McKeeshern's 30-minute 2-for-1 pink run in German from January 25th. Bertha C. Runs MD submitted this one. She said, love their friendship and conversation. They talked about their families and running the half marathon together. Soundtrack was great, and it is subtitled. And then Aditi's 30-minute pink yoga flow, also from January 25th. Katie Nelb submitted that. She said amazing music and vibes.
And I was live in studio for that one, and it was hard AF. It was not a beginner yoga class, but the music was amazing. She really picked some awesome pink songs, but it was a really hard class, but one I would recommend folks to do as well. So definitely a good one. All right. Well, Robin Arzon's 30-minute pink ride was also a pick of the week this week. That was also from the 25th. It was recommended by Kendall Peterson and Haley Lauren W. They said, can't overstate how much I love this one. The music, the coaching, everything. Ash Pryor's 30-minute pink row. So I guess this pink artist series was a favorite with the members. This one came to us from Lucky Brianna, and they said just loved everything about this one. And moving away from the pink artist series, the next one is mine, and it is one of mine for this week. Mariana Fernandez's 60-minute endurance run. It was from Friday the 26th. And I have to tell you, it was one that I really debated doing. I was actually scheduled to be in it, and I got cold feet about a week before. I just was like, I just don't think I can run in studio. I don't want to embarrass Mariana. I don't want to be that person walking on the treadmill while everybody else is, doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I shied away from it and did not do it. And I was able to get into my next pick of the week, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I did come back and, we had seen each other over the weekend, and she said, just do it, just see what you can do. Just do it. And I did do it. So I did it when I got back home. And folks, if you are just beginning to run and you're looking for something to just get on the tread and move your body, I highly recommend it. The playlist was very varied, and it went from her literally starting out with some reggaeton and some reggae to transitioning with a very cool classical clarinet piece that, according to Mariana, a certain member didn't like and said it was like having daggers in their back. I thought it was brilliant, transitioning her block 1 to her block 2. And then she went on to, throw in that, pop music where she had, Run DMC's It's Like That. She had Madonna's Ray of Light. She had Pink's I Am Here. And then she finished off those 60 minutes with Empire State of Mind, Alicia Keys, New York. And I did it. I didn't run. I'll be completely transparent and honest. I did not run for the full 60 minutes. I can't yet. I just can't physically do it. But I did try and keep myself, at a good jogging pace, and got through it. And I was really, really proud of myself.
Good for you.
Anyone listening to the show and you just want to just try something, just try it, because she is just a brilliant coach.
And they always say you can always modify. You don't have to go balls to the wall in every piece of instruction and pace and target metric. So do what's good for you. Do you. And I'm learning that. And then next up was, again, another pick of the week for me. It was Ross Rayburn. And it was my first 45-minute in class, like live in studio class. So I was a little apprehensive about that too, because I figured would I, manage a 45-minute yoga class. And honestly, folks, it was a focus flow healthy back. And I'd been dealing with some, because I've been running so much, some sciatic pain in my right leg. It was so technically on point and perfect. He really did an outstanding job. And he said it's not really a flow because he was trying to be very technical. There were a couple new people in the class. They'd managed it beautifully. And I got to tell you, that evening and the next day, I had no pain. The pain was gone, like the little bit of niggling that I had. So, don't sleep on those. Don't sleep on those, more focus. And I've actually been doing different instructors' healthy back since I got this past week, since I got back. And they're really, really good. So huge shout out to Ross for that one.
Just sleep on his meditations, right?
I just fall asleep on his meditations, but I am able to stay awake in these. Really awesome.
All right. Now, Tunde, 30-minute Hidden Hills ride from January 26th. We got this from Karen Zemsky-Berry. They said, great workout, great music to go with it. And then Bradley Rose's 20-minute 90s ride from the 27th from Amajar 3. She said, fun playlist from Bradley for this one. And then Emma's 30-minute 2000s rock ride from January 27th. Got that from Daisy Mack. She said, epic playlist. Her rock classes are my absolute favorite.
Yeah. All right. And then moving on. All right. My last pick of the week. But this one came from quite a few people. It is Rebecca Kennedy's 60-minute hike. Her first member live 60-minute hike. I think it was her first 60-minute hike, period. I don't think she's had a 60-minute hike before, but this one had members in the studio. I was waitlisted for this class, and I was desperate to get into it. I tried to pull as many strings as I could to get myself to the top of that wait list. I don't know if it worked or not, but I did find out on the Thursday night that I was, in fact, in the class. It was on Saturday, the 27th, and it was absolutely outstanding. It was incredibly hard, but Rebecca just gave her all. She was the structure, the instruction of the class, just the vibes in the class, being there with such a great group of people was truly a must. So if you're really looking for a really good sweat and an awesome hike, I absolutely recommend this one. And I am not, as I said, on my own. I am in good company with our good friend Zag's Fangirl, as well as Violet Maya and Petite Tay, all recommended this one as their picks of the week. And then Benny Adami, he had a 30-minute climb ride, and it was in English. It was on the 27th as well. Just Dance Lisa had recommended this one as her pick of the week. She said, great, amazing energy with Benny in this, and it's in English. And then Selena Samuela had a 30-minute endurance run. This was also from the 27th. This one came to us from Tunda Holmes. They said, really great class focusing on cadence. The entire playlist is made of songs at 180 beats per minute or 190 beats per minute, so you don't have to think about your cadence. You can just flow with the tunes, expertly coached.
All right, sticking with the runs, Jermaine Johnson's 45-minute pop run, January 28th. We got that from SLD. They said, great playlist, 45 minutes flew by. And then switching to the bike, Allie Love's 50-minute classic rock ride from January 29th. Love Squad Pelotons gave us this one. They said, playlist is solid. She rarely does classic rock, so be sure to check this one out if you like the genre. And then Hannah Corbin's 20-minute hip-hop bar class, also from the 29th. Amajar 3 gave us this one. She said, great workout and overall really fun class. And then I'll let you close it out with the last two, Amanda.
Close it out. Yeah. So Callie Gullickson's 30-minute bike bootcamp. It was a full body. This one dropped on the 30th, January 30th at noon. Bertha C. Runs MD and Amajar 3 recommended this one. They both said her last bike bootcamp before her maternity leave. It was fun with a cute musical theme and not too intense. So it would be perfect for dipping your toes into bike boot camps or adding strength. And then last up and rounding it off is Mila Lazar. She had a 20-minute dance music ride. It was in German. It was from the 31st. This one came to us from Clickstar, and they said loved her energy and dances in this class. And that, folks, rounds up our picks of the week. And I guess our show. So lots and lots that we shared with you this week, I guess. But yeah, I'm telling you.
I mean, the earnings call always, adds a little bit. There's a lot they always drop during that one. So we can always expect, 4 times a year to have a slightly longer one on earnings call days. You needed a banana. You needed a banana halfway through.
Together, I said a banana. You say banana, I say banana. I like that. I did like that. All right. Well, we won't keep you folks anymore. Thank you so much, everybody, as always, for tuning in, whether it be to get to see us on YouTube or via podcast. We always appreciate you taking the time to listen. Hopefully, we have given you a roundup of the Peloton news for this week. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. So from me here, bye for now, everybody.
And from me here in Atlanta, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.